13th of October 2023. Welcome to Somalia's premier #1 station for news and updates, Dalsan TV. I'm your presenter, Abdurrahman Yusuf. Tonight, we have a lot in store for you, but first, have a look at some of our top stories. Somalia President meets with the SSC Khartoum leadership. President Mahmoud chairs weekly cabinet meeting in Mogadishu. United Nations allocates $15 million fund for flood response in Somalia. Glad to have you back. Now let's delve into our full bulletin. Somalia President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud and Prime Minister Hamza Abdi Barre met with the SSC Khartoum leader Abdulqadir Ahmed Firdiye at the presidential palace in Mogadishu on Friday. In the course of the meeting, Mr. Firdiye briefed the leaders about the general situation in the Sol, Senag and Ain regions, collectively known as the SSC Khartoum. The Somalia President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud and Prime Minister Hamza Abdi Barre met with the SSC Khartoum leader Abdulqadir Ahmed Firdiye at the presidential palace in Mogadishu on Friday. In the course of the meeting, Mr. Firdiye briefed the leaders about the general situation in the Sol, Senag and Ain areas collectively known as SSC Khartoum. It was also discussed how the newly formed administration is making efforts to restore essential services to these areas after 8th month of conflict between Somaliland and the SSC forces in Las Anod and the nearby regions caused by the conflict between Somaliland and SSC forces. As a result of the war, he highlighted the challenges faced by the local population in these areas as well as the vision of the locals in these areas. During his speech, President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud focused on the importance of maintaining peace, social harmony and stability in these regions. SSC Khartoum forces ousted the Somaliland army from the SSC Khartoum areas 1 month ago. In a statement issued the day after the SSC forces took control of Somaliland base Gojade outside Las Anod, Somaliland President Musa Bihi Abdi acknowledged that his troops had suffered a significant setback during the 8th month of the conflict in the area of Las Anod town. Fighting erupted on February 6 after Somaliland security forces held a violent crackdown on civil protest. On February 8, the Supreme Garad of Dhulbahante, Garad Jama' Garad, declared an intent to secede and reunite with the federal government of Somalia. Somalia President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud presided over the weekly cabinet meeting in Mogadishu on Thursday to brief the council on the progress made in the country's effort to eradicate the Al-Shabaab militants. Somalia President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud presided over the weekly cabinet meeting in Mogadishu on Thursday to brief the council on the progress made in the country's effort to eradicate Al-Shabaab militants. President Mohamud stated that the ongoing operations have advanced and commended the Somali people for their unwavering support of the armed forces in the military campaign. He also urged the council to intensify its efforts to rebuild the nation, develop economic infrastructure, finalize crucial governance frameworks, and foster overall development. In a separate initiative, President Mahmoud and Prime Minister Hamza Abdi Barre participated in a blood donation campaign organized by Somali youth actively involved in the fight against Al-Shabaab. The campaign aimed to support the armed forces battling the group. Last week, Somalia's Ministry of Information said that military forces backed by international partners and pro-government troops have killed 1,650 extremist militants and wounded over 550 others over the past 2 months. President Mahmoud chairs a weekly cabinet meeting in Mogadishu. The United Nations has allocated $15 million fund to help mitigate the effects of the much-anticipated El Nino rains in Somalia. The United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Office has stated. Somalia has been allocated $15 million by the United Nations Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs to help mitigate the effects of El Nino rains. The Flood Response Fund targets high-risk areas in Hirshabelle and Jubaland states, historically experiencing the worst impacts of floods and expected to have the highest caseloads at risk of riverine flooding. The United Nations Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Office said in its latest humanitarian report released on Tuesday evening. On the plus side, the rains are projected to enhance pasture and water availability, as well as access to dairy milk, allowing families to partially fulfill their minimal food needs, according to the United Nations body. The United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, states that more than 1.2 million in riverine areas are at a high danger of flooding, and 1.5 million hectares of land might be swamped if the rains fall as predicted. Humanitarian partners are collaborating with authorities at the national and subnational levels on preparedness and response to prevent the worst effects of El Nino-induced floods, which is predicted during the rainy season, which falls on October to December. To coordinate the response, emergency El Nino task groups comprised of subnational clusters and national and international humanitarian partners have been created in Irishabele, Jubaland and Southwest states, according to the United Nations Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs. Lovely viewers, that's all we have prepared for you tonight from our desk in Mogadishu. Have yourselves a lovely night and be blessed.